1938 is number 25 Squadron, and it's as a Blenheim 1F fighter that this aircraft, newly restored, is now configured. Wattisham in Suffolk carried out Bomber Command's first raid of hostilities, attacking the German fleet in port at Wilhelmshaven, vulnerable to enemy fighters, and that much was shown first in the Battle of France and then the Battle of Britain. This one, operated by the Aircraft Restoration Company, is the sole airworthy example in the world. It was built in Canada by Fairchild as a Bolingbroke. In more recent times, the aircraft was restored to fly once, taken to the air again in 1993. Unfortunately, it became... Bouchon, representing the Messerschmitt Bf-109, the main German single-seat fighter of the battle, have broken off for their own display while the rest of the formation repositions. BBC often carried reports on aerial engagements during the battle. This one, from the 14th of July 1940, was broadcast by correspondent Charles Gardner.
1, 2, 3, oh look, there's a dog fight going up there. There are 4, 5, 6 machines wheeling and turning around now. How could the machine guns going? Yeah, they're being chased home, and how they're being chased home. There are 3 Spitfires chasing 3 Messerschmitts now. Oh boy, look at them going, and look how the Messerschmitt... Hey, that is really grand. And there's a Spitfire just behind the first 2. He'll get them. Oh yes. Oh boy, I've never seen anything so good as this. The RIAT fighters have really got these boys killed. Our machine is catching up the Messerschmitt now. It's catching it up. It's got the legs of it, you know. Now, right in the track. Now, go on, George. You've got him. No, this is going to happen to that first Messerschmitt.
Obviously, here we see the roles reversed, as during this first part of their display, the Bouchon is on the tail of the Spitfire. Strikes against convoys and coastal targets, importantly, did not break the RAF. Even these heavy and damaging strikes could not win the day. The outstanding efforts to repair badly bombed fighter stations, such as Kenley, Debden, Hornchurch and Biggin Hill, combined with the sterling work done in coordinating and carrying out aircraft production to make good combat. On the 7th of September 1940, the Luftwaffe turned its attention to London. Now the German High Command believed it could finally make the decisive breakthrough. Yet again, Fighter Command regrouped. A few years ago, Battle of Britain fighter pilot Tony Pickering, who flew Hurricanes with number 501 Squadron at Gravesend, recalled his experiences of encountering a German
big black cloud. It looked like a thunderstorm, but it actually was a formation of probably 200 German bombers. And above them you could see the 109s as they were turning and twisting above the bombers to protect them. And he would take us in on these head-on attacks, which we hoped we could get there before the 109s would come down onto us.
175 German aircraft have been destroyed in today's raids over this country. Today was the most costly for the German Air Force for nearly a month. In day-night raids, between 350 and 400 enemy aircraft were launched in
If this is your only air show of the season, this will probably be the last time you'll ever see this rock star of the aviation world. She's the single most popular aeroplane in the country. Kev Rumens, who's going to be flying the display, and sitting alongside him, Captain Bill Ramsey. We shall be seeing him fly later after the formal display has started, has finished. And the third person of the crew is the Air Electronics Officer, Phil Davies. He's sitting in the row of seats behind the pilots. The AEO faces backwards, and he manages the systems of this electric bomber, rather similar to a ship called She. And Tat Stone tells me that she's not only a bit temperamental, but she's very high maintenance as well. So we all call 558 She. And Tat says, despite all of that, he loves her. So here she goes. That is the great Kev Rumens flying in the way that we know Kev Rumens likes to. And that was the sound of 4 Rolls-Royce Bristol Olympus 202 engines, 16,500 pounds of static along the runway, along the display line. I'm looking to see him accelerate her to as head of number 1 group. That was the Royal Air Force group that controlled all of the Vulcans, and she represents all of the Vulcan squadrons in the 70s. That's number 9, 12, 27, 35, 44, 50, 83, 101, 617. Knows the spirit of Great Britain, which really encapsulates all that she stands for. Now I think next we're going to see Kev Rumens bring her round towards us. 1952, only 11 years after the first flight of the Lancaster. Look at the two of them together and you think they come from different centuries. Not a different. Until, that is, the 30th of April 1982, when one Vulcan, 607, hit the centre line of the Port Stanley runway. She's going to fly down the runway with her wheels down. All 18 of them, in case you're in a mood for counting, or in case you've been on one of the underwing tours this morning and able to count them at first hand. There you see the undercarriage going on. But that became rather frowned upon, and she wasn't allowed to do it anymore. It was perfectly within her capabilities. As she comes in this time, we may see the bomb doors opening. There we go. Bomb doors open. and you get an idea of the enormous size of that bomb bay. The bomb bay, of course, is the heart of the bomber. That's what it's all about. No guidance amongst them or anything, so if you wanted to hit a specific target, you went for a lot of overkill so that you'd be sure of getting it. And indeed, they now the chief pilot of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust. He was awarded a DFC, and his crew were mentioned in dispatches. As she comes back in front of us again, expect to see the bomb bay closing. Nowadays it just contains the names of lots and lots and lots of people who have contributed so wonderfully to keeping this grand old lady flying. The biggest problem throughout her life has been money. It may seem obvious, but she's not funded by the government. She doesn't belong to the Royal Air Force. But that money has come from everybody. You've given your money in single pounds, in tens of thousands and everything in between. The late Sir Jack Hayward, wonderful. Also the very generous Eddie Forrester of Aerobites. There's been big support from the CAA, companies that will finally bring Vulcan's illustrious flying life to a close. So that once the three technical authority companies have ceased their support at the end of this flying season, the Civil Aviation Authority regulations mean that Vulcan will be prohibited from flying. So the end of her career is not about funding, it's not about the supply of spare parts, but it is about mandatory third-party support. It is including children and young people who are inspired to learn more about engineering and aviation. And as she went into her Zoom climb, and she'll be coming back later on, all the special moments complete. We go for that. The Empress of Flying. With her. To our right, they'll be coming back for one more pass from that end of the field. To Seuss, the man who wrote The Cat in the Hat and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, said, "Don't cry, at least smile through the tears."
That was the bee.
Do downwind leg fall basically is to get the pre-landing checks done, get the gear down and all the things that you need to check before you put her back on the ground. They are ready as well. I'm going to hand you over now to Squadron Leader Mike Ling, Red 10.